Ooh, that's a bingo. Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo.
Bingo! How fun!
How fucking fun indeed. Short Story Bingo, episode 33. My name is Nate Chacon III. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your second time, the retention program is working. What I do on this podcast is I happen to read a story that you might not have ever heard. I'm a glorified narrator, and it's like Audible, sorta. So what we're going to be doing, episode 33, I hope you guys appreciated the double episode that we dropped last week with My Sacrifice, which was a fun, loving, heartfelt story about Jason Voorhees. I didn't see that coming, but I really searched really long and hard to get that one. So I hope you appreciated it as much as I did when you could feel like Jason fucking crying through his hockey mask. It was really weird. And then, of course, another story out of the Creepypasta collection, Perfume by Michael Whitehouse. That story, actually, I re-listened to again because of how much content was in it and like just the picture that was painted. So if you're looking for something to binge on, this is certainly the podcast to do it. So we're 33 episodes deep. They range from 30 minutes, sometimes up to an hour and a half. So I certainly hope you could share, subscribe, show your friends, let them know, and comment on your iTunes and all that shit. But today, let me go over real quick some of the countries and the states as we usually do. Obviously, my man Jodi told me, and I'm going to introduce him here in a second, but he was like, yo, man, you need to let people know who's number one. You're telling everyone who's 2, 3, and 4, but who's number one? Okay. So number one, obviously, for the countries is the United States of America. And then after that is the UK, Canada, and Russia creeps back in there. And then for the states, Utah is number one. Yeah, that's right. And then Virginia, California, and Maryland. So shouts out. Yeah, 2 East Coast states, which is cool. Whatever, man. We're trying to make it everywhere. And then, of course, this week, the random Twitter follower shout out goes to my man who's going to be joining us tonight at John Bless, JAHNBLESS _ Go ahead and follow him.
Don't get your feelings hurt.
Don't get your feelings hurt. Okay, without further ado, I obviously have some guests here. We have a new sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. It's our first sponsor, Clean Cut Barbershop, 21 East Kelsey Avenue in Salt Lake City, Utah, 84111. I got my man Jodi here. I got my man John here. Yeah. Tony wishes he could be here, but
love you,
shout
Tony.
out to him. Yeah, shout out to him.
Young Tony.
Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Jodi Joe. Cracker.
Yeah. I'm John, representing Salt Lake. Shout out to the 7-0 Say It Again.
Yee! Word, man. Okay, well then what we're doing in our partnership together and to help you guys out, we make sure that your fades are kept tight and your goatees are kept thin. They're extending out $5 off of your first cut. To schedule an appointment, please visit cleancutslc.com. Walk-ins are, of course, welcome.
You won't regret it, I promise.
You can check out their Instagram as well, at Clean Cut Barbershop. That's only one T. They didn't get weird on us. And then Facebook, it's facebook.com/ Clean Cut Barbershop SLC. But a big hand to Clean Cut Barbershop. Big hand.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Jodi's a listener of the show. He appreciates the silliness that ensues here. So, man, I really appreciate it, Joe. Yeah. We're gonna get some heads up in there, man. It's gonna be great.
No, man. Yep.
Get your hair cut, boy. I know you're
through. We'll get you fresh.
Yo, it's Friday. The weekend's right here. Come on, man.
There's all this fresh tail. It's springtime. Come on, boy.
Yo, we're gonna be reading about the Alamo today. An Amazing Tales for Making Men Out of Boys by Neil Oliver. But before we do that, we obviously have to have the intro song. Alamo, bitch.
Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers.
To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Ana. Oh my God. Okay.
¿Qué están haciendo esos
No, hold
pinches
on. I mean,
mexicanos, güey?
this is a letter.
Oh, this is the beginning of the story?
Yeah, this is a letter.
Oh, I thought this was just a thought.
No, it's
Oh.
not. I mean, I guess technically it is a thought because it's a letter. Yeah, I know.
Shout out to La
1,000 or
Raza,
more-
bro.
1,000 or more of the Mexicans under
Mis
Santa Ana.
respetos a la raza, güey.
Under Santa Ana, not Santa Claus. Okay. I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Ana. I have sustained a continental bombardment and cannonade. Fuck.
Yeah.
Cannonade. I'm going to say cannonade.
It's cannabis lemonade, if y'all wondering.
Cannonade.
Right, okay, yeah. I
For sale now.
have sustained a continental. Hold on. Let me get through this letter part because this is like a letter that was written by William Barrett Travis, who is the commander. All right.
Sounds like a punk.
All right. To the people. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, not around the world, in the world. All right.
Flat Earth.
Fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Ana. I have sustained a continental bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. Good for you. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion. Otherwise, the garrison are to be put to the sword. If this fort is taken, I have answered the demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls. I shall never surrender or retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgot what is due in his own honor and that of his country, victory or death. Yo, man.
I have a real question.
Okay.
Was this, so obviously this was in Texas or whatever, right?
I mean,
Yeah, right.
Right.
Duh. So, so was this before or after when Texas seceded from the Union? Were they independent at the time of this battle, or was it while they were still part of the Union?
Texas was part of the of Mexico.
At the time of the Alamo.
Yeah. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and we'll read about that, is what was the settlement agreement, I guess, between the two
right.
countries in order to get that land.
I mean, excuse the ignorance. I'm just a kid that left school
Not
and
even-
smoked weed.
No, this is good because this is what we were talking about before we started.
Yeah,
is that,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
is- like, if nothing else, a little bit
Right.
to like just fucking figure out what
Hell
the
yeah.
Alamo is, the lore of the Alamo. Have you guys ever been to the Alamo, by the way?
No.
Okay.
No, I just seen it on the the NBA on TNT commercials when the Spurs are playing, and it just pans over the Alamo. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's mad tiny, yo. It's mad tiny. Like,
So what the fuck do I?
Well-
Hey, is the Alamo? What part of Texas is that?
San
in?
Antonio.
San Antonio. That's right.
Yeah, San Antonio.
Shout out to San Antonio. I've heard that they have really good food down there on that San Antonio Riverwalk.
Yeah, it's really touristy.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. That's all I've heard about. 'Cause
I
all
don't-
I hear about is from tourists. So
Yeah.
shout out to San Antonio and their bomb tourist food
Yeah.
selection.
No, I don't disagree at all. I was there for basic training when I was in the Air Force, and what I was going to say
Thank you
about
for our service, Nate. Let's all give a
Thanks,
quick round
man. I
of applause
appreciate
for
that,
Nate
and you're
for that.
welcome. I guess I don't know.
kind of weird to say I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was
Anyway.
a random thank you. So
I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't, like when people say thank you for your service, I don't know what to say.
I get
other
it.
than
I get it. Well,
I signed
I
a
don't
dotted
get
line
it.
and I
'cause
fucking
do shit.
I don't know. Anyway, but thank you. I went to the Alamo and it's tiny. It's fucking small. And I was like, man, this is it. And then I started to go back in my head and like, man, this is it. Like, this is all they fucking had as far as like
that's all that was there.
exactly
around there.
like just like
That
to
was
kind of
it,
like just well, I mean there's a tiny little like town a little bit that they were like building around it, but it was like that's where, you know, they fortified themselves to hold off, because we'll read about it, but Santana's army he wasn't joking when he was saying like 3,000 to 4,000 people in like 5 fucking days. They were fucked for sure. I mean, not fucked, but like, it was definitely an uphill battle, like right. So we'll see. Okay, when the letter above was written by William Barrett Travis, officer commanding the Texas forces at the siege of the Alamo during the bitter winter of 1836, the future of the American West, and indeed of the whole continent of North America, was far from certain. All across that vast and infinitely varied terrain, peoples of every creed and color struggled to make their voices heard, to live their lives as they saw fit and proper, to win and secure their freedom, even to exist at all.
Wait, this is corny because we already know that they wasn't giving no credence to every single skin color back then.
Well, it depends on where you're talking about, because like this would be in a time frame when even like 50 years later, when Pancho Villa was killing his own people, like this. It doesn't surprise me that that's said, because like this is the wild west, bro. Like this is like,
I get that.
It's not like New Hampshire in 1836. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
It's not like the East Coast where
this was like there was no rules, like no prohibition, all that other shit.
Right. Exactly.
You're right.
It's so like if you're there, like, are you down or not? And if not, then then it's a wrap for you, which is also fucking thugged out. But like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, to be in a position, where you're like, am I down or not? Because that's how Pancho Villa went through his shit. Like I got stories from my grandma about Pancho Villa. Like that cat was, as much as a revolutionary as he was, with any revolutionary, there's always like tragedies of war and miscues that they did with, you know. And
it's crazy when you look back on history and all these people that have kind of been put up on a pedestal. Like if you really dig deep,
right?
If you put them against you put them against the 2018 like humanitarian, like what we look at as good. It's they wouldn't level up.
What do you mean it's dark? What do you mean?
I just know with every story like this, there's, like you said, there's a bad side to it. There's the violence, you know, that was unnecessary and necessary at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So, and I totally agree with you, man. Like it's fucking gnarly how it's really, really weird how with freedom, or what they didn't even know was fucking freedom. Like they like you're so far away from the East Coast that you're just trying to continue to conquer shit, and you don't even know if the fucking president. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really doing?
They were out here making their own armies. I'm saying,
shit. Boom.
Yeah.
And that's where that stance of Texas comes in, of being like, yo, man, we're for our own shit.
I get that. I understand that. Shout out to Texas, honestly, for being some badass. Yeah, they've been saying like, fuck y'all, like we on our own shit, which that's some gangster shit if you ask me.
I'm not. Right. Okay, so let's go back. The sun rose and fell in the empty, endless skies above them, and there was everything to play for. It was just 33 years since Thomas Jefferson, third president of the Republic, had settled the deal for the Louisiana Purchase, paying Emperor Napoleon of France the sum of $11.25 million. You know what, dog? I need to look up what that meant. As far as money's concerned, $11.25 million in 1803. Guess.
Bro.
Well, I'm looking it up. I just want you guys to guess. If you're at home, before my guess,
$11 million.
Hold on. Before my guess, Start going through and guess and yell at the fucking speakers right now. What do you guys think it is? $11.25 million in 1830 or 1803. Go, Joe. You're first.
I don't know, man. Probably like 500 million. Something like that.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
it,
that's a good
it's
guess.
been a long time, bro.
I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna say 84.5 million.
Oh, that's a good guess, bro.
84.5?
84.5 million.
Okay.
Also, the amount in my checking account. No, I'm just. I wish.
That's peanuts to an elephant.
That's
you know
peanuts to L. You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like, I think I can only go back to 1860.
How much was it?
So I'm going to go back to just 1860. So this is still 57 years later. Okay. All right. So the amount is 11. This is a lot. 250. 000.
All I know is gas was $1 when I was 16, man.
Yo, you guys are going to trip right now. Okay, 57 years later, so
Quanto?
1860. But in 1803, it was probably, I would say it was probably about $600 million.
Oh.
But in 1860, it was $322 million.
So I wasn't that far off.
No.
Man.
No.
All right.
Shout out to Jody Joe.
Yeah, no, give it up. Yo, like
I really thought about the gas prices when I was 16, dog. I'm only 32, man.
Boy.
So that was 16 years ago, man.
Right.
Imagine how long ago was that? 18 what?
1803 when the Louisiana Purchase happened. Yeah.
Pretty accurate.
Right, pretty accurate.
Bruh,
Okay.
could you imagine? Like, that's
Right.
crazy. Like, there's people like Jay-Z who could just buy a state back then.
Right.
God damn.
Bruh. How
I'll
much
get
did
even deeper
LeBron
with
get
you.
paid last year?
I'll get even deeper with you. In Oklahoma, you know,
Shout out to Oklahoma.
because of the
Jazz.
Oklahoma Sooners, you know that's like their name, right?
Oh, you. I know them.
So during the times of the Dust Bowl,
Is that like before the Red River rivalry? Or I can't even say it. That's a lot of R's.
Like 1921.
That's a tongue twister y'all got going on down there. I don't know.
What I'm saying is that like I'm going to comment on purchasing land at the time. Hi, still to everyone. Yeah, grab
We're on
it.
Facebook Live, so we
Keep going with that.
see what the comments
So
is talking
anyway,
about.
what I was saying is that like
What's up, guys?
purchasing land in Oklahoma, there was a time frame where literally they were called Sooners because the sooner you got the sooner you got land. And check this out, man. You were just paying for property at fractions of a price that you would have at all. So like we just missed out on so much shit like that. So like the Louisiana Purchase being sold for $11.25 million, just to put that into perspective, man, that's like so much money. Okay.
Oh, that's a grip. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay. So
For
it was
real.
just 33 years since Thomas Jefferson. We haven't even gotten to the bones of this
All
shit
right,
yet.
let's just
We haven't even hit
yeah.
the first, what is that? The
Yeah,
first page?
yeah.
Oh,
I know it's
bruh.
cool though. This is great. It was just 33 years since Thomas
right,
Jefferson, third president of the Republic, had settled the deal for the Louisiana Purchase, paying Emperor Napoleon of France the sum of $11.25 million for the best part of 830 square miles of territory, something close to a quarter of landmass occupied by today by the United States of America. So we're talking from Louisiana all the way up to Michigan. At that time, the land
Shout out to Michigan.
Shut
The
up.
mitten.
And Louisiana.
At that time, the land west of the Missouri River might as well have been on the moon as far as most U.S. citizens were concerned. With the exception of the Lewis and Clark expedition and maybe enough hardy fur trappers and adventurers to fill a bus, it was terra incognita to white people. And terra incognita, what that means is what is that?
Terra Incognita.
No. What's
they
the?
said show mate.
They want to see you, dog.
Oh,
You're the star of the
okay,
show, man.
well,
You got to be on the Instagram Live, man.
My bad.
You're the star of the show.
So terra incognita just means like unexplored territory. Anyway, the Louisiana Territory that had been Napoleon's cell in 1803, that had been held by Spain until 1800. Can you guys believe
Interesting
that too?
fact, by the way.
The fact that all that was held by it's not. Is it really that interesting when you start to think about how much effort and work had to be put into buying all this shit?
I mean,
Because
it's just a
the
totally
English-
different world.
Europe-
That land
Europe-
wasn't even
Right.
I mean, here's the coldest part: is that land was occupied by people,
Thank you.
and people were selling it as if it really was like an item that you could just put on the market.
Right.
And they looked at these people because they respected the land. Like the Native Americans that were here didn't look at land as in like, this is fucking mine.
Well, in some cases they did.
Well, no, they did, but
they were tribes, right?
Oh, I guess you're right, because the white man just didn't give a fuck.
Well,
And they were
didn't
like,
give a
well, we're
fuck.
just going to sell this
so there
all.
wasn't. There just wasn't so much camaraderie
crazy.
at all.
It's crazy. It was just a different time,
seek
bro.
and conquer, man. It was seek and conquer.
Yeah, it was just a time of
Is it
conquering.
different though? Because it's still kind of it plays
I
out a
mean,
little bit today, right? I'm not trying to get super deep, right? Because we still got to get through this.
Yeah, let's get through this. I
Yeah.
don't really want to expand on it. It's different. It's just, hey, look, there's just discrimination on different levels
Right,
now.
right.
As opposed to buying land and selling land and kicking people out.
Right. The Louisiana Territory, that had been Napoleon's to sell in 1803, had been held by Spain until 1800. What you guys are hearing right now is we're trying to pour some
My
Patron.
bad.
We're trying
It's
to pour
me.
some.
I'm pouring shots.
Who is
today.
it? Is it you,
It's
Joe?
me,
Estamos
Jodi.
tomando para la raza, güey.
Serio, pero, güey.
Yeah,
Happy
salud.
Podcast Friday, y'all.
Salud
I
a
hope
todos.
I hope you guys are toasting too.
Cheers.
Oh,
I
my
think
phone
it-
just died. That's all right. It's done.
All right, good. They were pissed.
It's all good. We're going live on John's.
Yeah, go. All right. If you want to see this live video, go to which Instagram?
Go to yours, man. Put on for Short Story Bingo,
I
man.
already did.
I mean,
Well, it was,
but it's not live right now, right?
No. Well, I mean, it was live for that moment, but it'll go live when you. Are you going to go live right now?
You know we're going live. So
Okay.
yeah, you can check.
That's
You can
on
check out
John's.
the live. but it's
Welcome
on
back
my-
to Short Story Bingo, ladies
Yeah,
and gentlemen.
forget about that.
Let's get
Forget
back
about
to
that.
man.
All right. The Louisiana Territory that had been Napoleon's to sell in 1803 had been held by Spain until 1800. But the Spanish grip on the Americas, once a strange hold in places, was by then as weak as that of a dying man. Americans spilled into Florida. By 1821, Spain was moved to surrender that vast land as well. In return,
You're
Andrew
telling me
Jackson...
Spain owned Florida?
Yeah.
God damn.
That,
In-
like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like actual Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Damn.
But see...
Spain pretty much owned. Dude, Spain owned a grip.
Yeah, dude.
For real.
Spain traveled a grip.
Hey, that sounded dumb. When I said actual Florida, I meant like, was it just the state of Florida or like a whole?
They
like,
owned the
piece of
Louisiana, the part of the. So they owned Iowa, Louisiana, Michigan,
Oh,
Ohio.
what you said earlier.
Yeah,
all
the
the way
Louisiana
down.
purchased
Okay.
the whole thing up.
Okay,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I'm slacking. Yeah.
No, you're not. That's fine.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they did it. What's up? Okay, Americans spilled into Florida too. By 1821, Spain was moved to surrender that vast land as well. So mind you, though, the Spanish grip, like it just says right here, the Spanish grip on the Americas, which was once a stronghold in places, was by then as weak as that of a dying man, because they weren't inhabiting it and they weren't like holding it down. They were like, oh yeah, we just own it and that's it. In return, Andrew Jackson, 7th president, had formally renounced any and all claims to the territory the Spanish called Tejas, which is Texas.
Yeah.
It was like a healthy, hungry child promising not to grow any bigger. Those were the empty words of a promise his nation could not and would not keep. Countless Americans had for years been viewing Tejas with envious eyes. because it's so huge. Rich, fertile soil, endless forests of lumber, herds of wild horses, cattle beyond counting. In the nearby American territories of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee, too, many men felt hemmed in by neighbors, by personal circumstances, by brushes with the law to stay put. Something had to give. There had, anyway, already been an attempt to annex the territory as early as 1819 when a Dr. James Long had rounded up 300 like-minded men and marched them across the border in the town of Nacogdoches. He just about had time to name it capital city of the Republic of Texas.
That is the lamest fucking name I've ever heard. Like, come on. If you're really gonna grab your goons and just take over some shit, like, why wouldn't you just call it like
this is the Republic of
fucking
Texas?
No, I'd just be like, man, this is fucking like dope. Like, this is just a state called dope.
The town of Jodi.
Yeah, or like
Cracking.
No, but that's not even weird. You know what? Because people were naming shit after them. All the often.
Yeah.
True.
So that's like this is the state of Jodi.
I didn't fart.
Somebody's farting up in this piece.
I farted once. All right.
That shit came back.
Did it come back? He just about had time to name it. So like this guy thought he was going to do it before his dream collapsed like a house of cards and Spanish troops reclaimed the place without a shot fired. Like, yeah, OB, get the fuck out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Savage.
Then in 1820, it was the turn of a bankrupt Missouri lead miner named Moses Austin, who won from the Spanish permission to settle 300 American families in Tejas. He died before he had time to fulfill his plans, but his own son, Stephen, assumed the mantle and crossed the border in 1821 with the first settlers. Even as they were making the journey, they heard Mexico had won its independence from Spain. So Mexico's still dealing with that shit. From Spain, who Spain is still holding shit in America.
Bro, while they're still in the Philippines, let us not forget.
Shout out to the Philippines.
Shout out to my Filipino homies.
Hashtag Manny Pacquiao.
Hashtag Tagalog. Dude, it's very similar to Spanish, actually. It's pretty, actually.
It is.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, because
I mean, 500 years of
Spanish
rule.
influence.
Every Filipino person you know has like a Spanish last name. You know.
Oh, yeah.
They took over.
Pacquiao. That's like Spanish as
not
shit.
every, but you know.
but
Shout out
like-
to Manny Pacquiao, by the way.
Yeah,
Right.
shout out.
Who would have kicked Floyd Mayweather's ass back in the
Okay.
day?
All right.
8 years ago, man, 9 years.
I
Yeah, in his
don't
prime,
know. Like this,
smacked Mayweather.
You know what?
Smacked him around.
I just don't even think
But,
that you
hey,
guys watch boxing
respect
much,
to the
man. I
champ.
just
Respect
don't.
to the champ. Respect to the champ.
Hey, let's move on about the Alamo. We can't forget about the
We
Alamo.
can't forget about the Alamo. Even as they were making the journey, they heard Mexico had won its independence from Spain. But Governor Antonio Maria Martinez honored the deal he had made with Austin Sr., and the immigration began. They called themselves it's hashed, or excuse me, in quotations, I think it's Texans, Texans, Texans. Texans? I feel like it might be Texans.
Texans.
Texans?
Texians.
Texians.
Texas is yelling at the
Texians.
radio
Texans.
right now.
They called themselves Texians, those first settlers. There had only been a relative handful of Spanish.
Texians?
Yeah,
That's what it says, bro.
I know. Yeah, that's what it says. There had only been ever been a relative handful of Spanish-speaking inhabitants, and within a decade, they were outnumbered 2-1 by the incomers. The Texians thought their neighbors little better than the savages. The Mexicans were appalled.
The Savages.
Yeah, dude.
Wait,
Yeah.
who are the Savages?
Hold on, we'll find out. Yeah, exactly. See, Joe's right here. Joe's right here with me. The Texians, the Texians thought their neighbors little better than savages. The Mexicans were appalled by, among other things, the way the whites insisted on keeping slaves, a practice
Pinches
outlawed
gringos.
through the rest of Mexico. So they were over like slaves, and they were like, "Yo, man, we don't even do slaves anymore." Like, what the
Sounds
fuck?
like it.
They were like, we don't do slaves anymore. We just let the government just take all the money and fuck the rest of the people.
Yeah, so
you know, like we're just.
I almost gave way too much credence to that. Like I just almost gave way too much credence to and they weren't doing shut the fuck up. But
shout out to our Mexicans, La Raza.
Viva la raza, viva Chihuahua, viva Parral. But the
Sinaloa también.
But the newly independent nation, check this out, here we go. But the newly independent nation of Mexico was itself hungry for people in its borderlands. Such was its need to see the territory defended from incursion by hostile Indians, as well as illegal white settlers.
Illegal white settlers.
Y'all let that sink in, yo.
Let that sink in.
This is from a story from my man's name is Neil Oliver, and he wrote that.
Well, I mean, it's history, right?
Is it not?
Shout out to Reach Socks.
Let me just go back over there. Such was, okay, here we go. But the newly independent nation of Mexico was itself hungry for people in its borderlands, as they should have been. Such was its need to see the territory, or to see the territory defended from incursion by hostile Indians, as well as illegal white settlers. The government exempted the newcomers in Tejas from taxes for the first 4 years.
They should have built a wall. That's all. I'm just saying.
Bro, what if Mexico would have built a wall like dumbass 200 years ago or some shit?
But like, honest though, like
honestly though, man, they already knew about ladders. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, fuck.
I mean, come on.
They just
Joe, bring your mic down just a little bit. There we go, right
just
there.
A tad.
Yeah, oh my gosh, much better.
Got you.
And okay, so I gotta say it one more time. Just third time's a charm. No, I'm not gonna do that. The government exempted the newcomers in Tejas from taxes for the first 4 years, and positively encouraged settlement by law-abiding farmers and entrepreneurs, which I love. Among those who found their way to this land of opportunity were men who had become legends both before and after their own deaths. Figures like Colonel Davy Crockett from Tennessee. We've all heard of David Crockett.
Right.
Who's Davy Crockett?
Man, sounds like a whiskey.
He wears a raccoon tail on his hat.
Thank you, Joe.
Bro, all I'm saying is that sucks when you die and you become famous after. Like, fuck that.
He was famous before.
What did he do, though, man? What did he accomplish?
Didn't you just talk about people that got famous after?
He was a politician in Tennessee. He was a frontiersman. I don't know. He was a big deal. And he was a colonel in the United States Army. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. I see Davy Crockett.
And he served in the Texas Revolution for fucking the Alamo.
You know what I've said way more in my life than David Crockett?
What?
Crikey.
Okay.
Hey, if you watched Crocodile Hunter, I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Australia. All my Aussies out there. Aussie. Hey, they had the oi, oi, oi on the other side. I know they had that for me, boy.
Go ahead, hit it. So, Aussie, go ahead.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi. All right.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, we know. I gotta give David Crockett was cool. I don't know. I mean, there's just I haven't like
there was a song, right?
Well, the any sort of nonfiction that I've heard about David Crockett hasn't like led to him saying that he was like kind of a shitty person, I guess.
What a dick.
What an asshole.
I know, I got you. Figures like Davy Crockett from Tennessee, frontiersman and failed politician, so he sucked. When his constituents chose not to return him to the U.S. Senate, he told them, "You can all go to hell. I'm going to Texas."
Damn.
Ooh, Texas sometimes gets hot as hell.
Yeah. What's up? Sam Houston, former governor of Tennessee and would-be fortune hunter. Jim Bowie from Louisiana, slaver, Indian fighter, knifeman. William Travis, the letter writer who would one day lead the fight that burned itself into the American consciousness like no other, arrived in 1831. A young and ambitious lawyer, he left a pregnant wife and infant son behind in South Carolina. Damn.
That's just how divorce was back then, bro. You just dip.
You just rolled.
You just dip.
Okay. I mean, there's a bit about that though. I mean, I think Bill Burr has one like that. The story unsubstantiated, but often. Okay, let me go back.
It was Bill Burr, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
It was.
A young and ambitious lawyer, he had left a pregnant wife and infant son behind in South Carolina. The story, unsubstantiated but often repeated, was that he'd grown convinced his wife was having an affair. Okay, so your assumptions got the best with you. Wow, fucking pussy. Certain that the unborn child, a daughter, later named Susan, was not his own. He shot the supposed lover dead and headed off for pastures new. Damn,
God
dog.
damn. Talk about.
He didn't even know that it was old fucking jealous ass,
I mean,
silly ass mother.
man, if someone
What?
cheats
Are
on you,
you-
you can't go killing people.
He doesn't
dog.
know if he
Let
doesn't
her go,
even know.
dog. Let her go, dog. You know what I mean?
There's
Jeez.
better horizons, boy.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? So also that speaks to his insecurities. I'm not even gonna get all fucking psychological, but that speaks to his insecurities.
Psychological on him, boy.
Yeah, fuck him.
I got friends who said they would kill their girl if they cheated. So
We're
I'm
not
just
saying
Are
tone
you
low.
serious?
don't do it. You know, let her go, dog. There's more out there. That's all I got to say.
They there.
They are out. All right. Gradually, but inexorably, Mexican opinion began to harden against the self-styled Texians, who seemed likely at any moment to try to seek independent status for their new home, annex themselves.
Straight up.
Wait, say that.
Okay, yep. Gradually, but inexorably, I need to look that word up. Just to spell
Which
it out,
word?
INEXORABLY.
Yeah, because that flew higher than Mount Everest over my head, boy.
Okay,
I
so
tried to sound it
all
out.
it means is impossible to stop or prevent.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so gradually, but impossible to prevent. So because the Mexicans were just getting pissed off and it was just going to come to a thing. Gradually, but inexorably, Mexican opinion began to harden against the self-styled Texians. A big thing, though, also
I don't
is
like
this-
that word. Texians. They don't. Man, ain't no one
That's
been
how
like,
it
I'm a
is.
Texian. I'm a Texian. No one says Texian.
Just hear this out, though, really quick.
I bet
gradually-
Texans are yelling at you right now.
It's not. He even spelled it.
It's in the book.
All right, yeah, you're right. It's in the book.
Gradually, but inexorably, Mexican opinion, just hear this out really quick. Mexican opinion began to harden against the self-styled Texians. So they're like, yo, man, you guys are fucking getting way too comfortable. Who seemed likely at any moment to try to seek independent status for their new home. When President Jackson offered to buy Tejas for $5 million, it was the last straw. But by the time Mexico City got around to rejecting the offer and passing laws banning any further American immigration, it was much too little and much too late. No mere paperwork was going to seal the border, and the stage was set for armed conflict to settle the matter once and for all. In 1833, General Antonio Lopez de Anna. I've been wanting to say Santa Claus so much when I was reading this, like Santa Claus. Yeah. Okay. In 1833, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was elected president of Mexico. As a soldier, he had fought for independence from the Empire of Spain, and in 1829 had taken the final surrender of the Spanish General Isidro Barradas, which is super dope, dog. Like, for him to have like he had a bunch of respect. Santa Anna had a ton amount of respect, and mostly because he helped in the annexation from Spain. So there was no way that they were not going to fight for this dude. At first, the new president promised to honor the established right of the Texians, but within months, his attitude had changed. hardening toward his increasingly unruly and apparently independence-minded American tenants. Minded American tenants, like as if he was so annoyed by the Americans that he was just like, look, y'all are just visitors, B. You guys are just visitors, and this is not like going to continue like this. Your style is not that tight.
The Texians were wilding.
They weren't fucking with them, bro.
Yeah, at all. Okay, so 2 years later, or 6 years. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, as mad as I get at one side or the other, you know, like they were just trying to get theirs, you know. So I see it, but some people are tripping, you know.
Right,
bro. It's like one of those things where like
You can't just walk in my house and have a room, bro.
yeah, but also
Are you serious when you say that though, or are you just
Yeah.
just being facetious about that?
I don't know. I'm a little tipsy.
No, but are you being like?
Well, you gotta
can't just walk
remember
in.
it was a
hell no, you
different
can't
world.
Just walk up in like you know where I live and
Yeah.
just take over. Hell no, bro.
But it's not like
We
no one
fighting.
put up a fight.
No, I know. I'm just where we're at.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in the story,
The cool part is
they
that
seen it coming like miles away.
yeah, exactly.
That's it.
There
See
you
it,
go.
man. That's what I'm getting at.
There you go.
And I'm seeing it like the writer
Yeah.
did his job. You know, I can see where they're at right now
They're like, what the? Hold
in
on
the
a minute.
story.
Yeah, they're
I know
like,
this
wait a
happened.
second.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
talking about right now.
Yeah.
where you're at.
Well, because I'm getting taught a little bit too, so I just want you guys to know that too, because there's like some parts that you don't delve into so much when you're a kid and shit, but like, I see where you're coming from, Joe. Like I can see where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed now that you guys are.
Yeah.
But you got to remember,
I
like,
mean, I don't know. Shit.
get.
Go ahead.
But if you get that much power, who knows what you're gonna do? The human mind's a crazy place,
Sure.
and I mean,
Everybody just wants to get theirs, man.
I mean, I played StarCraft. I played StarCraft. You took over places.
Everybody just wants to get theirs. It's almost
Everybody wants.
Well, it
a
was just a
piece,
different
you know?
time, and it was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like because there was no real respect.
right.
Because at the end of the day, everyone was just like Jody said, trying to get theirs. Like
Right.
Yeah.
weird time,
just a
weird
thought.
fucking time.
So check this out. I'm gonna run this back just to and I'm gonna reread it. And point. Watch. In 1833, we're gonna jump to 1835. So it's gonna be 2-year difference. Okay. In 1833, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was elected president of Mexico. As a soldier, he had fought for independence from the empire of the Spanish from the Empire of Spain. And in 1829, so 4 years prior to him becoming president, and in 1829 had taken the final surrender of the Spanish general Isidro Barradas. So 4 years prior to him becoming president, he gained the respect of his people because he had formulated an army to overcome this invading country that had been there since the Mayans and Aztecs.
Right.
Okay.
Shout out to the Mayans and the Aztecs.
At first, the new president, and this referring to Santa Anna, promised to honor the established rights of the Texians. Like, okay, cool. We agreed to this. You can chill out. You can have some land.
Wait.
But with
What, hey,
Go ahead.
my bad.
Go ahead.
Who? Okay. I know I'm
Go ahead.
slacking, but the leader of the Santa Ana, what was that again? Like what?
Santa Anna is the president of Mexico.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Viva Mexico.
And Mexico still owns that land
Okay.
because they took over Spain 4 years prior,
Okay. That's what
and
I
Spain
thought.
owned it.
I just was getting confused. All right.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. Okay,
Go ahead.
are we on the same page now?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
I'm sure some people will appreciate
Is
that.
he talking to the Spanish? Like Santa Ana? Is he talking to?
He's talking to the Americans. He's talking to the Texans.
Okay, the Americans, the Texians.
Yeah, the Texians.
Let's
yeah.
be clear, the Texians.
Right. At first,
Texians.
check this out. At first, the new president, who is Santa Anna, promised to honor the established rights of the Texians, being like,
Simon.
okay, cool, we established this already. But within months, his attitude had changed. He's like,
Look.
hardening toward his increasingly unruly and apparently independence-minded American tenants. In 1835, he sent in an army headed by his own brother-in-law,
What a bitch.
Martin Perfecto de Cos, with orders to stamp on any hint of trouble and bring the whole place to heel. That's some like Lord of the Rings shit. A company.
Read that
who
last
was he
sentence.
with?
The whole place to what?
Okay.
Who was he with? The guy you just named?
Yeah, okay. In 1835, he sent in an army headed by his own brother-in-law,
The
Martin Perfecto de Cos.
he's
Perfecto de Cos.
Santana. See?
Yeah.
Okay.
Que nombre, eh?
With orders to report on any hint of trouble and bring the whole place to heel. Like, hold up. Yeah, like hold up a minute. Like
He's
you guys
coming
you guys
to
are
smack
that,
bitches.
Yeah, like are you guys you guys aren't that cool? You guys still got to
Charlie
fucking
check a hoe.
Yo, you guys
I
still got
would
to
fuck
kneel
with
to the sword.
Martin.
Yeah, this is like it's like Lord of the Rings.
So
man.
he came to enforce some shit.
Yeah.
He was like, look, y'all got to get the fuck out of here, man.
Or just calm down.
Party's over,
Or just calm
Texas.
down. Yeah.
GP.
Yeah. Party's over.
On GP, that's just what it is.
GP.
You get the fuck out of here. I feel it.
Bitches need to go back.
This is
home.
where watch. This is about to get juicy, dog. Okay, a company
Juicier than high C.
of Mexican cavalrymen was sent into the town of Gonzales during the first week in October to confiscate an ancient cannon used from time to time for frightening off Indians. I'm gonna say Native Americans from now on.
That's
Wait,
fucked
who had the cannon?
They didn't even shoot at him.
The Spanish?
No, the Americans, the Texians.
Oh fuck.
So them Texans
told-
were.
So they brought in they brought in a cannon with them when they rolled in, and they were scaring away the locals.
Yeah,
They wasn't even shooting at him. They was just scaring him.
yeah.
Some witchcraft, man.
Right.
Y'all-
Fucked up bullshit.
Fuck.
Dude,
Shout
they-
out to
they-
my natives. I'm
Shout
sorry.
out to my peoples.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, man. They fucked that shit up. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking about.
I'm ready, man. I feel bad because I know what's coming.
Yeah,
ultimately.
man.
You know,
We know the result.
we know the end result, man.
We might not know the
Dude,
history.
Hey, we're
John,
living-
you weren't lying. You weren't lying when you said this is might be the most like up to this.
We gotta
point.
live in the moment of
This
the
shit-
book
yeah.
where we're at, though.
Right.
That's why
I'm
you
just
hear
trying
me
to
asking,
figure it
you know,
out, dog.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
I
figure
don't know
this
names
out.
and shit.
Yeah.
You know, so if you hear me talking a lot, it's yeah.
When the horsemen arrived, they found the locals gathered around their antique under a banner reading, quote, "Come and take it."
Oh, testing.
That's what she said.
Testing.
I had to. I'm sorry, people.
As the Mexicans approached. Oh, are you guys ready for this? As the Mexicans, oh, Jesus.
Lo Mexicano.
As the Mexicans approached,
Locales.
the gun was fired, and a most ineffectual load of scrap metal blasted forth in a cloud of white smoke. The
Bro,
casualties
why
were
they doing
few,
them
but
dirty?
the
Hey, this sounds like a trailer park. They was trying to like set
Bruh.
up shop.
They was
They put some
tripping.
trash in the fucking canyon.
Man.
Bitches, man, trying to scare, man.
I ain't fucking
All right,
with these
keep going,
hoes.
Nate.
no,
Let's
they
go.
were just trying to defend their own.
Man.
No, they
Man.
said come and take
There's
it.
a difference between being
No,
a bitch
man.
and defending
Okay,
your
so,
own.
Don't
no,
come
hold
in
on,
my
hold on.
house.
I really want to. Okay.
And then tell me to take the remote, man, because I'm gonna come and take that shit.
You ain't
But then
changing my
you're gonna-
channel.
But then you're gonna throw cabbage on me.
Try.
Cabbage.
I mean,
Well, he's just talking about the.
I'm just talking about how I would
Cabbage
look
way
at
better
shit.
than scrap
Right.
metal.
But all right, let's go.
No, I get it. No, that's why I'm pulling this out. Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, man.
'Kay.
Let's go.
Yeah, keep it moving, man. We got like
So
about
they
9
shot
more
some
pages of
bullshit
this
ass.
shit.
Like
No, I'm just
they,
kidding.
They shot some peas out the cannon, and then what happened? Man?
The casualties were few.
Oh wait, so it killed some.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a cannon.
Did they?
Bruh,
rush
when
them?
I think of a cannon, they just got that one ball. You just fucking dodge that shit.
that shit with like pieces
Fuck a
of
cannon. I'll
fucking-
fuck,
I know,
I'll
but it
fuck
said,
up
but
a
it,
cannon,
I know, but
boy.
John, it said that there was scrap. It was scrap metal. It was scrap
Scrap
metal. So
metal.
it's
I
just
play
like,
too much Mario.
I've been playing Fortnite, so I feel it. I just see it like that.
The casualties were
Fuck a
few.
cannon up.
The casualties were few, but the repercussions immense.
Port to fort on them hoes.
The Texians had gone to war. At first, the majority aim was not independence, just opposition to the centralist government of Santa Ana. A provisional government of Texas was hastily sworn in, and Sam Houston was given the job of recruiting and leading a Texas defense force. For General Cos, there was worse to come. By December, he had been brought to bay by a few hundred Texas volunteers in the chapel of an old Spanish mission station close by the San Antonio River. Its name was the Mission San Antonio de Valero, but most folk close by knew it was by Spanish name for the cottonwood trees that grew around it. Alamo.
So Alamo means cottonwood tree in Spanish?
Let me read that back one more time.
Árbol Alamo.
Let me read that back one more time. At first, the majority aim was not independence. The majority aim was not independence. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you guys to understand that. At first, the majority aim was not independence. It was just war at that point. Just opposition to the centralist government of Santa Ana. A provisional government of Texas was hastily sworn in, and Sam Houston was given the job of recruiting and leading a Texas defense force. For General Cos, there was worse to come. By December, he had been brought to bay by a few hundred Texas volunteers in the chapel of an old Spanish mission station close by the San Antonio River. Which is the River Walk today. Its name was the Mission San Antonio de Valero.
De Valero.
But most folk close by knew it by the Spanish name for the cottonwood trees that grew around it.
Los Alamos.
Alamo. Cos surrendered. I said surrendered. Cos surrendered and was
Surrendió.
I know. I'm just getting. I'm getting into this now. I'm flowing now. Cos surrendered and was allowed to leave along with his surviving men. With their tails between their legs, they were allowed to skulk home to Mexico. While many of his fellow Texians celebrated their eviction of the Mexican army, Sam Houston urged caution and continued vigilance. He could see the writing on the wall, even if no one else could, that Santa Ana would seek revenge, and that the Mexican forces far outnumbered anything the fledgling Republic of Texas could put in their path.
God damn.
He pledged to fight, but he wanted to do it in his own way, by avoiding a head-on confrontation and using guerrilla tactics to harass any Mexican invasion column. Once he had the larger animal bleeding from enough wounds, he would bring it to battle at a time and place of his own choosing. Let me run that right back for you real quick.
Run it back. Them bars.
Run it back one time.
They are bars,
You
dog.
were just dropping bars. Who wrote this book?
Neil Oliver.
Neil
was tripping.
All right, go ahead.
With their tails.
Bars.
Okay. Cos is the brother-in-law of Santa Ana. Cos surrendered and was allowed to leave along with his surviving men. With their tails between their legs, they were allowed to skulk home to Mexico. While many of his fellow Texians celebrated their eviction of the Mexican army, which is super cool. They're like, yeah, fucking, we got him. Sam Houston still urged caution and continued vigilance. Okay, well, I mean, that's what they were doing at the time, right?
I don't know about this.
Yes. Okay, yeah, keep going,
Just
man.
flow with me.
Let's roll with it. Yeah.
He could see the writing on the wall. Sam Houston could see the writing on the wall.
Okay.
Even if no one else could. And what that was is that Santa Ana would seek revenge.
Santa Ana didn't give a fuck.
And that the Mexican forces far outnumbered anything the fledgling Republic of Texas could put in their path. They were out there. They were.
So the Texians were the Republic of Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were worried. They were worried
No les
about
importa
Mexico.
nada los Texians.
He pledged to fight, but he wanted to do it his own way by avoiding. He pledged to fight, but he wanted to do it his own way. By he, I mean Sam Houston. By avoiding a head-on confrontation.
Sam Houston.
Did
he name that city though?
No, I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, yeah, just keep it in mind.
Sam Houston didn't give a fuck.
Keep in
He
mind.
pledged to fight, but he wanted to do it his own way by avoiding a head-on confrontation and using guerrilla tactics
Okay.
to harass any Mexican invasion.
Bro, why they call it gorilla? Like these gorillas really out here doing some crazy shit?
Gorillas, man, come
Yeah,
on.
they
They
are
ain't
crazy.
even. Come on, man.
Once
I
he
ain't
had,
ever seen
Are
a
we in the
gorilla
Congo or
do
we in
not
Texas?
shit.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Once he had the
dog.
larger animal bleeding
Come
from enough
on, man.
wounds.
We in Texas or we in
We-
Congo,
is
cuz?
this practice? Is this practice? Practice? We talking about Texas.
All right, guerrilla tactics. What did this boy do?
Once he had the so his idea was that once he had the larger
Republic of
animal
Texas,
bleeding
my ass.
from enough wounds, he would bring it to battle at a time and place of his own choosing. Okay, look,
That's
guerrilla
cold
tactics-
blooded.
No, it's not. It is cold blooded, but guerrilla tactics is obviously very simple.
You rip their head and arms
Hey,
off.
No, it's not
This
that.
is gonna
in
be your
Vietnam, in
longest
Vietnam,
episode.
no,
ever.
it's not. No, it's not. It's not even
Okay.
close yet.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
In Vietnam, they used guerrilla warfare as they were going through the jungle. So what you do is you just
Explain
hide
to the
out.
people what guerrilla warfare
Yeah.
means. What's the
A
definition?
gorilla ain't done shit.
He's Googling
No,
it.
gorilla is not spelled like gorilla.
No, it's G-U-E. It's not G-O. Y'all
Well, what the-
slacking. Come on, man.
guerrilla warfare.
English be
hold on.
fucking me up.
Hold on,
Guerrilla
Jonathan.
warfare. All right.
Guerrilla warfare is a form of irregular warfare in which a small group of combatants, such as
Fighting.
paramilitary personnel, armed civilians,
I'm gonna
or
speak
irregulars,
English. Y'all
use
fighting.
and they use military tactics, including ambushes, sabotage, and raids, and petty warfare, hit and run tactics, and mobility.
Petty
to
warfare.
Fight,
I like that shit.
Hold on.
and mobility to fight a larger and less mobile
Wait,
traditional
so
army.
I'm still missing it.
What
What
are you
is
missing?
guerrilla
So
warfare?
it's guerrilla warfare is the 2018 equivalent of bashing you on Twitter or Instagram all day.
No,
Come on,
no.
come on,
No,
come on,
hold
come on,
I'm
come on,
trying
come
to
on.
really find. No, hey, I'm really trying to. I want to know.
Okay, I'm gonna
Like what that
truncate
means.
it for you. So I'm gonna put it into small. Okay, so
Truncate it.
truncate.
Okay.
Truncate.
Oh, my bad.
No. Seriously, this is it. Guerrilla warfare is this. So if I had a big army and you didn't,
Okay.
you would find out where you could put two of your homies over here. You can put two of your homies over here. And as we have our
Is guerrilla warfare like a strategy?
yep,
Okay. See, that's what I was fully asking. 100%.
yeah, it's a strategy.
Just the definition.
It's a strategy for a smaller group of folks that don't have a lot of military experience to take down a large group of folks
Okay,
that do
so-
have.
So
military
pretty much
Like
it's
the
just
Spartans.
yeah.
The
yeah.
Spartans use guerrilla warfare.
The Spartans use guerrilla warfare and just like their own warfare because they were fucking trained.
I'm just trying to understand.
Wait,
you know.
so guerrilla warfare would be like the Syrian army backed by Assad versus the citizens of Syria that they got over there.
No.
Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no. The guerrilla warfare would be exactly what I just was saying. If it was just like if I had six people on my team and you had 20.
Right. So hold on. The smaller army is the only cat that can use guerrilla warfare.
No.
So
It's
does the
usually the
number
smaller
or
group.
the
It's usually
action
the smaller
define
group.
Man,
guerrilla?
my bad. I'm getting off track because this is just more about a definition. I just wanted to know what that means. I've heard that word.
We're sorry, listeners.
It's
You know.
usually just a smaller group of combatants. So like
Yeah, I'm saying.
guerrilla warfare is usually like it's just like tactics like hiding inside of trees and shit and fucking killing people like when they're-
Got you. Okay, let's keep
Yeah.
it moving. My bad.
Do you
bro.
understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah,
Like guerrilla.
yeah. I just wanted to understand because I've heard that term a lot of times. You know.
Right. Okay. Okay. So let's go back. Okay, he could see the writing on the wall even if no one else could, that Santa Anna would seek revenge and that the Mexican forces far outnumbered anything the fledgling Republic of Texas could put in their path. He pledged to fight, but he wanted to do it his own way by avoiding a head-on confrontation and using guerrilla tactics to harass any Mexican invasion column. Once he had the larger animal bleeding from enough wounds, he would bring it to battle at a time and place of his own choosing.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Sam Houston, while the provisional government had made him commander-in-chief of its army, they stopped short of giving him total control over all of its would-be fighting men. So even though they said, hey, yeah, you're the commander-in-chief of your army over there in Texas. Yeah. You can't have all these people. Colonel James Fannin was one of them. And against Sam Houston's express wishes, he was able to lead a force of volunteers south, apparently to take the fight directly to Santa Ana.
Oh, man,
Go ahead,
bro. This is some of my side shit. I'll ask you after.
Okay, his campaign was shambolic from the outset, largely due to his inability to maintain discipline among the men. As he approached the city of Matamoros on the Mexico-Texas border, he learned that one general, Jose Urrea, was marching toward him with a large force. Finally, appreciating that discretion is the better part of valor, he withdrew 25 miles back in the direction he had come from and holed up in a town called Goliad, near San Antonio.
That was San Antonio, if you didn't catch that on the hiccup.
Houston's worst dreams were here.
Houston's worst dreams are the Utah Jazz. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Okay.
Wait, what? I missed that. I was texting.
Houston's worst dreams were anyway coming true.
Which means they're going to play the Utah Jazz in the round 2. Shout out to the Utah Jazz.
Let's not make this about the playoffs,
Jazz.
but it's Utah Jazz.
But it's the Utah Jazz, and I'm going to give a shout out to them.
You already know Jazz Nation will
Jazz Nation, bang, bang, gang, gang.
Okay, yeah, let's keep it moving, Nate.
Houston's worst dreams were anyway coming true. Santa Ana himself, his macho pride wounded beyond endurance by the drumming meted out to his brother-in-law, that's homie, was marching north at the head of an army 4,000 strong. Reinforcements, dude, he had an army of 4,000 people. Okay, all right. Reinforcements were already gathering at the Rio Grande, ready to join him and push into Texas like a juggernaut. Because fuck it, we're gonna fucking go into Texas. What do these guys think? They're just gonna come in and shit on our fucking couch?
Hell no.
No, hell no.
Fucking
no, you don't do that.
God damn it!
God
took over.
Yeah, thanks to Fannin, Fannin, Houston's available fighting force was cut in two. And he had now to find a way to slow down the Mexicans and give himself time to regroup. With Santa Ana en route to San Antonio, Houston sent Jim Bowie to round up the 100 or so soldiers still holding the nearby Alamo after the defeat, of course, the previous December, 100 or so. Bowie arrived at the mission station in mid-January.
Shout out to the mission, San Francisco. Guadalajara.
With orders to get the men and ammunition moving and to blow up the buildings. Houston knew Santa Ana would be trouble enough without gifting him buildings ideal for housing his soldiers. The Alamo was too big to be successfully defended by a small force, and destruction and orderly withdrawal from the area seemed like the most sensible course of action.
Right.
But then Bowie. But then
David Bowie.
But when Bowie met with the station commander, Colonel James Neal, he immediately had second thoughts about abandoning the place. Neal had been hard at work positioning the artillery he had available to him, reorganizing the interior of the compound, and generally strengthening the fortifications. It no longer looked like much at all like the House of God, more like a fort. Apart from anything else, Bowie was a fighting man, a duelist with a lethal reputation. Some said he was the most dangerous fellow in all the world. How likely was it that such a man who'd gone so far as to design and make his own killing knife, who had never yet turned his back on a fight, even when grievously outnumbered, would walk away from this one? There are, after all, some men who simply will not be told. In a letter from the Alamo dated February 2nd, Bowie wrote, quote, "Colonel Neal and myself have come to the solemn resolution that we will rather die in these ditches than give it up to the enemy," end quote. Yo, man, the cats had fucking pride, B.
Hella pride.
They were tripping.
Were they tripping, or was it just like pride, bro? Like, what the fuck else you got, man? It's 1836.
Bro, the thing, it's just crazy. Like,
why is it crazy? You gotta fucking put more context on that.
Bro, like, hey, these motherfuckers really were just showing up at a spot like Utah and they was looking at this bitch, and they was like, well, it's mine now. Fuck anyone else that's here.
Yeah, Sandy's pretty nice, dog. I think I'm gonna take over.
Right. No, I get that. No, I feel what you're saying.
It was just a different time. It was just it was a time when real life people didn't give a flying shit.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. This is crazy to me to be reading about this because I felt like I knew about the Alamo, but like it's like
it's a lot deeper than
right.
I remember. I didn't read this book when I was in like high school. I remember him like studying the Alamo and what happened and feeling bad and seeing stuff. But this, I
like how both sides are explained. I like how
they tell about what the Republican.
Yeah, I agree.
And also like
Texaco,
those Texians.
You know the gas station.
Those Texians.
Anyway,
however they said Texations. The Texation. Y'all should start.
What I'm saying though, like, is the
Band
like to even empower a little bit of like how. The Mexican authority was getting over their own shit with the Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Because the Spanish might be the biggest losers in this whole thing because they fucking just lost out on a punch of land, right?
Oh man.
Maybe they weren't.
No, I don't know,
because
bro.
They got here when all the gold was still here, boy. So how much did they really lose?
I know you're not wrong.
We already know they burned history.
Books.
They
took all.
They
that
wasn't
back
trying to hear nothing. Hey, they burned history books. They burned religious books. They burned everything. They tried to get rid of evidence of anything.
That's real.
And shout out to my Mexicans. You know what I mean?
Hey, los natives.
Hey, no, I'm not
close.
against.
Right.
I'm not against.
Shit, me neither. I'm white. I speak fluent
history.
Spanish. It's just real shit.
I'm listening, and I'm just speaking out loud on what I'm thinking.
Right.
William
Travis, lawyer, adventurer, and runaway husband. Oh my God, runaway.
That is some.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hey, that's hating. Because,
that's a resume.
Hey,
that's a resume.
That's hating because at
why is that hating?
Hey, at any point in his
runaway
life,
husband.
that boy caught the label of runaway husband.
Bro, tell me one husband that ain't wanted to run away.
Hold up. Why did he run away, man?
Shit, I mean, I can think of about 14 reasons I would have ran away before my divorce happened.
Hey, all I'm saying, they labeled him runaway husband.
Say it, Joe. Say it.
It sounded like it was negative, but
Bro, no, they threw that. That was shade. That was shade.
That was definitely shade.
That was definitely shade.
They said,
there was no way that someone read that, proofread it, and really said that they can put that into publishing without being like, fuck this guy.
Hey, runaway husband?
Run away.
That boy ran?
Man, if he's running, why aren't we looking at the wife? You know what I'm saying? Like,
what, did she get like her face smashed by like a shovel or something?
Did he get his face smashed? Part of me's thinking
why did
he's
he run away? Did she try to stab him? Did she cut his dick off?
All I know is that ain't no man ever ran away from good pussy and good bitch.
Hey, but also for them to say runaway husband, and this is a book that was like fucking like to
okay.
This is a book that's like
that's just
I apologize. But, that was a little too. That was ratchet.
The label of runaway, like, hey man. Give my man a break, you know.
I know, but what was the author really trying to point out to like the little kids, the little boys that were reading this? Because the name of the book is "Amazing Tales for Making Men Out of Boys" by Neil Oliver.
They just had to throw that in there though. Like, why?
Like, don't be a runaway husband.
Yeah. I ain't mad at it.
I don't know.
Probably.
What was the three things? He was the
William Travis, lawyer,
adventure beast.
And runaway husband.
Like asshole? Like what? Come on, man. Come on, man.
You gotta throw my guy under the bus like that.
A little bit of,
Well, ain't no one asked for her opinion.
Runaway husband.
Did he provide for the kids?
Hey, on some bro code shit, like homie, man to man.
Oh my God.
He had to dip. There was a reason.
Sometimes you just gotta get the fuck out.
Well, and remember, the thing was that he thought that she was cheating on him.
Okay, let's go.
But anyway,
let's go. Keep it moving.
William Travis, lawyer, adventurer,
about 48 pages.
Yeah.
Now,
was by now a lieutenant colonel in Houston's Texas Army. In February, he was sent by the provisional government at the head of a force of around 30 cavalrymen to take command of the forces at the Alamo. Neil's family had been taken ill, and he had been given permission to go to their aid. Bowie was angry about the new command structure at first. For a start, he was older than Travis, and as far as he was concerned at least, he bore the rank of full colonel. More to the point, he was armed with far more experience in the business of fighting. There was a standoff and a battle of wills before Bowie agreed to lead the volunteer infantry.
I respect it.
While Travis would command the regular army and volunteer cavalry, in the event he was taken ill not long afterward and spent most of the siege lying on what would become his deathbed, Davy Crockett, the so-called king of the wild frontier,
God damn it, Davy Crockett once again,
came to join the fight as well, along with a handful of fellow Tennesseans. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Chris. He's a Tennessean. On February 24th...
Tenetian.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on, bro? The Tenetians?
Or the Texians?
I'm just asking.
I don't know which side I'm on.
Listen, it's all love at the end of the day, but we know what it is.
We know
what it is.
Texians, man.
On February 24th, check this out. Here we go. Okay.
God damn.
Yo, we're almost home. I'm gonna run through this. I know. I'm gonna run through this.
We got to freestyle.
We're sorry,
and all
guys.
kinds of stuff. Let's go.
On February 24th, Santa Anna arrived in San Antonio.
Shout out Santa Anna.
At the head of as many as 6,000 men. Whew! He had advanced into Texas beneath a black flag, a declaration that no quarter would be given to those determined to oppose him.
Good punk
He
band.
at once demanded the surrender of the occupants of Mission San Antonio de Valera.
Bien hecho.
It was then that Travis responded with a cannon shot toward the assembled host. Woo. Just like, woo. Okay, hold on. Before placing his letter to the people of Texas and all Americans in the world into the hands of a mounted the letter that I just read, he put into the hands of a mounted courier, Albert Martin, and sending him on his way. So he sent it off. Remember what we just read at the beginning of the whole thing, that he was saying, hey,
Simon,
please bring everyone here. Please bring everyone here.
Yeah.
There was precious little support
I saw
to be
that
had.
movie.
More letters were sent in the coming days. At least one to Fannin, holed up in nearby Goliad, but he sent no one to bolster the tiny band now facing the might of Santa Anna. Word reached the town of Gonzales, home of the infamous Come and Take It cannon.
And
around 30
Fuck
Texians answered the call. Approaching the fort under cover of darkness, they slipped through the defenses to join the beleaguered few. There would be no more.
I'd be beleaguered too.
Yeah, dog.
I'm really glad you're reading this story because beleaguered is completely out of my vocabulary.
They were beleaguered, and I feel it. You know what I'm saying?
The fuck does beleaguered mean?
I might get beleaguered while listening to this story.
I mean, it sounds all right in context, but do you know what the actual definition of
Beleaguered
that is?
means the small force. Like the beleaguered, the small.
All right.
The
underdog. The underdog.
Yeah, the underdog force. Beleaguered. The ones the cast outs.
Yeah.
All right, I can fuck with
The
that.
outsiders, the misfits. I feel it.
Beleaguered.
feel it.
It's mostly
I'm
just
a
like
goon.
the small ones.
Beleaguered.
There would be no
Beleaguites.
more. Okay, check this out. There would be no more reinforcements. This guy has 6,000 people, but
Hey,
Santa
shit.
Ana has 6,000. These guys don't have 6,000
There's
people.
hella more people in Santa Ana, California than that. Shout out to Santa Ana, California.
That ain't. Hey, let's go. Come
Okay.
on, hey.
There will be no more. I can't fucking help it.
We're fucking around, man. Keep it going, Nate.
I'm
Let's
trying
go.
my best,
I
Joe.
started it. My bad. Let's
It's
go.
Interesting shit, dog. You just keep making me think of some other shit.
Hey,
Okay,
let's
good.
roll like zigzags. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
There will be no more reinforcements, no more chance of help. Those now, hold on, check this out. Those now within the walls of the Alamo, around 180 fighting men were all there would ever be. 180 versus 6,000.
God, man.
Bro, if there was
Shout out to
180,
y'all 180 savages that was with the shits. And when I say savage, that's a positive note.
them
Let's go.
motherfuckers dead as shit.
Let's go.
Travis
Down and
William
shit,
Travis
you mean.
knew, furthermore, that plans were afoot to split Texas from Mexico once and for all. They were like, "Fuck it, this is what we're doing." Some 150 miles away in the town of Washington on the Brazos, a delegation had gathered.
Washington?
Washington on the Brazos. That was the name of the town. A delegation had gathered to compose the Texas Declaration of Independence. So they're like, fuck this. We're going to fucking make our own Declaration of Independence from Mexico. Like, we're just doing that.
Hey, America was just built on some crazy shit. Let me just say that.
Yeah, this whole shit's
Thank you.
wild.
Hey, bro, everything, like, from the time that they were, like, wrote all that shit, you know, when fucking John Hancock had this, man, it was just
Hancock
like
didn't give a fuck.
It was like 4 dudes.
His real name was John
the
Foot
founding
Penis.
fathers or whatever. I'm not trying to get into that deep ass shit, but what I'm saying is this fucking hey, don't laugh, bro. This whole shit, like, man, just some redneck ass fools moved into Texas and called themselves Texians.
They didn't give a
which
fuck.
was part of Mexico. They were just like, nah, we feel it here. Like,
And part of me feels it.
we're posting up, and then we'll throw this scrap metal in this cannon
God damn
and
it.
shoot at these fucking Indians, right? Man, like,
That
it's
shit's
just crazy.
fucked up.
And then the president of Mexico was like,
The
okay,
president,
well,
yeah, he was
we
like,
agreed
"Fuck
to
y'all."
this. We agreed to
like,
this at the beginning.
we'll let you come in, but like, whoa, like,
and then
y'all-
months later was like,
Y'all trifling.
yeah, man, y'all.
yo,
fucking-
it's just like, fuck, man, it's always the same story.
I
Just
love
like
that you said
Thanksgiving,
that. I
it's
love
just
that
like
you-
Thanksgiving, man. When the pioneers invaded and fucking, man, I'm going deep.
That was
I love
pilgrims.
it. No, I love it.
Who?
Pilgrims, not
What did I call
pioneers, cuz. You said
Oh,
pioneers.
my bad. What? Okay, Pilgrim.
Right.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Yes, you knew though.
Yeah.
So my point is, the fucking Pilgrims done strolled over like, yeah, we cool, and then, you know,
The point is that U.S. history
the
is
point
crazy.
is the America, man,
It's
like,
the same story.
hey, when you talking about like immigrants and shit, come the fuck on, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all I gotta say. Go ahead.
I get that.
Some 150 miles away in the town of Washington on the Brazos, a delegation had gathered to compose the Texas Declaration of Independence. While the talks went on, and while efforts got underway to raise a full army for the fight ahead, Travis saw it as the duty of the men now stubbornly dug behind the walls of the Alamo to keep Santa Ana occupied. If he and his thousands were besieging the Alamo, then they
They were
weren't.
what?
If they were going to be besieging the Alamo, if they were going to attack the
Attacking
Alamo,
that shit.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
then they weren't. Then they weren't off doing greater harm to the nascent independence movement elsewhere. So the COM, the nascent NASCNT.
The hell does that mean?
The COM,
Like when Nate shows up and everything is
The Nate-cent.
The
Shout out to
Nate-cent. I
Nate,
feel
my
it.
boy.
Yeah, I feel it. All right, Nate, go ahead.
So what-
Star of the show.
Okay,
That's not Nate would have ate if he was asking.
February gave
But
way
I
to.
fucks with Nate Smith.
Let's
Shout out to
let's
Nate
go.
Smith.
February gave
Not
way to
me.
March, and still there was nothing. Just check this out. February gave way to March, and still there was nothing for the defenders of the Alamo to do but watch the buildup of an enemy force behind the walls. By March 3rd, it was clear their situation was hopeless. Sometime that day, or the next, Travis had the defenders gathered in the courtyard. He made the situation plain to all of them, as if anyone there could have been in any doubt, and stressed once again that there would be no reinforcements, no relief.
God damn.
God
He
damn
told him,
it.
He told him, quote, "We must die," he told him.
What?
Quote, "Our business is not to make a fruitless effort."
You either with the shits
Yo,
or not with the shits.
we got 180
My dudes.
against fucking 6,000. You know what I'm saying? 180 against 6,000. What are we doing?
Bro, what was these people fighting for? Like,
We
They were
holding our
fighting.
ground.
I just got done talking about the Texas Declaration of
Okay, yeah,
Independence.
yeah.
yeah, but you know
What
what
are
I'm
you
saying?
talking
Like they what? So they're gonna go grow some corn?
Yeah, they like the soil. They want
Thank
to
you.
stay there, bro.
Yeah, thank
they
you.
love the land. Just like everything in American history.
Thank you.
They're tripping.
Same story. Go
No,
ahead,
it's not
bro.
tripping. Shit, if
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
game
no,
time, it's
I
game time.
respect. I respect it on GP status. Like, you came, took over and shit, but on some real shit, like, it was dirty.
Right.
They did them dirty.
It was dirty.
You're not wrong. Okay. He made the situation plain to all of them, as if, and this is Sam Houston, as if anyone there could have been in any doubt already, because they're like, yeah, we already get it. And stressed once again that there would be no reinforcements, no relief. "We must die," he told them. "Our business is not to make a fruitless effort to save our lives, but to choose the manner of our death." He said it was up to every man to choose what he would do. There would be no shame for any who decided it was better to leave the Alamo and take his chances trying to make it through the enemy lines to safety. So saying, he drew his saber from his belt and used the tip of it to draw a long line in the sand and dirt at his feet. That imagery is fucking crazy to me. So saying, he drew his saber from his belt and used the tip of it to draw a long line in the sand and dirt at his feet. Only those willing and happy to join him and fight, come what may, should step across it. And he said, we're going to.
Yeah, you're right. I know that, though.
Okay. Only those willing and happy to join him and fight, come what may, should step across it, he said. At that, a French veteran of the Napoleonic Wars by the name of Louis Moses Rose held up his hand and asked permission to leave. Travis stepped forward and shook by the hand. He wished the man good luck and Godspeed and sent him away. Quote, "By God, I wasn't ready to die," said Rose later. And it is because of his decision and his successful run through the Mexican lines that we know about Sam Travis and his line in the sand. With the Frenchman gone, Travis turned once more to his remaining men. Quote, "Those of you prepared to give their lives in freedom's cause, come over to me," he said. Every one of them stepped across the line, all except Sam Bowie. By now, bedridden, he had his bed carried out into the courtyard so he could hear what Travis had to say. Now he called to Crockett. He was going to die. Now he called to Crockett and a few of the other men and had them carry him over the line as well, bed and all. Damn, yo!
God damn.
That is fucking savage, dog. That's like fucking pride shit. That's like, yo, let's all pick him up and pull him over and put him across the finish line. But
That's
also,
crazy.
like, he's part of it too. He's just bedridden. He's just sick. He wants to be in it. Like, yo, grab the other pole. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Just pull him over the line that he just fucking set. Nasty, dog. This is a time frame, fellas.
This is
a
a
time
different mindset.
This is a fucking time frame where shit is just always dirty.
Yeah.
It's just not. It doesn't even fucking matter. Shit is not swagged out. Shit is not swagged out.
You know what?
No.
I bring this back to in the beginning when I said it was dark and we were kind of questioning.
straight up.
When you were like, Joe, what do you mean it was dark? I said with every revolution or everything that we go through in history,
There's some fucked up shit
there's gonna
behind
be
the
like,
curtains.
I mean, there's gonna be the people that are like, yeah, Dad, we fought for our shit because we deserve it, America. And then there's gonna be the people that are like,
yeah, well, you
I mean,
fucked us
like,
over. Huh?
You might have killed thousands of fucking people. So, you know, but yeah, I'm glad to be an American, man. I am. We're lucky to be born here.
Shout out to the motherfucking U.S. of A.
Hey, shit. My grandparents, migrated here. Just like
Same with
probably
my
a lot of your
parents.
grandparents.
I'm
our
appreciative.
parents. And, first, second generation Americans. And,
No,
But
we're
the point that
blessed.
you're making-
But the point I'm making
Blessed,
is
blessed.
that I'm just bringing it back to in the beginning when we was questioning, like, when I was talking about that. So that's it.
Yeah, but and I agree with you, and I think that just put this image in your head. You have a band of
Dark
dudes.
times, man.
You have a band of dudes in it's fucking Texas. Just put Texas, and then my man Sam Houston pulls out his saber. Fucking, it's on written records, like accounts of this shit that he did it. Of dudes that just said it, and he put a line down with his saber. Everyone was across it. Hey, do you want to come? If you're down for the cause, walk across. There was a dude that was like, "Nah, I'm good," so he rolled out. But then everyone else did, and Sam Bowie was in his fucking bed, and these guys fucking moved his shit over.
That's crazy. That's wild. Could you imagine?
Sam Bowie was a goon.
The people that did that shit were a goon.
Well, he had his bed carried out in there,
Talk
so he
about
was in the
pulling a
Alamo.
lick.
He was in the Alamo.
Bruh.
I want to talk about pulling licks.
He
You
was
wanna
in the
talk
Alamo
about
area. He
pulling
wasn't even
a
at the line
lick.
at the time.
Let's finish the story,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Then
Yeah,
we
let's
can
finish.
get into some
We'll
crazy
get
shit.
into
Right.
it.
'Cause I got
I got
something for
I got
y'all,
some
man.
ideas about this shit.
got something for y'all, man. Just
Every one
stay
of them.
tuned.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Let me reset this. Every one of them stepped across the line, all except Sam Bowie. By now, bedridden, he had his bed carried out into the courtyard so he could hear what Travis had to say. Now, he called to Crockett and a few of the other men and had them carry over the line as well, bed and all. Before dawn on March 6th, with the sun still absent from the sky, the defenders heard the sound of a bugle from the beyond the walls. Whether they recognized it or not, it was a tune called El Degüello that had been brought to Spain by the Moors. The more literal translation of the name is slit throat. Woo! And it was played at the bullfight to signal the sword was about to be used to finish off the cornered beast. For the Mexican soldiers gathered beyond the walls of the Alamo, it meant no quarter was to be extended to those they found alive inside. Yo, that means that they were just like, yo, everyone's dead. Like, everyone's dead.
Right.
The best part of 3,000 howling...
That's a guaranteed win, man. Anyways, keep going.
The best part of 3,000 howling, bellowing infantrymen then charged full tilt from their positions on the walls above. They assembled Texians, Kentuckians, New Yorkers, Pennsylvanians, Tennesseans, and the rest, picked off the front runners. Picked off the front runners. Hold on. This story is about to end, but can you guys be with here from this?
Yes.
Let's get this out. Okay. I'm gonna reset this because.
Okay, yeah, my bad, bro.
No, it's fine.
Back.
No, right here. Before dawn on March 6th, with the sun still absent from the sky, the defenders heard the sound of a bugle.
Oh yeah, like the dog.
From beyond the walls. Whether they recognized it or not, it was a tune called El Duelo that had been brought to Spain by the Moors. The most literal translation of the name is slit throat. And it was played at the
a slit throat.
And it was played at the bullfight to signal the sword was about to be used to finish off the cornered beast.
El pinche toro.
For the Mexican soldiers gathered beyond the walls of the Alamo, it meant no quarter was to be extended to those they found alive inside.
Okay.
The best part
Rest
of
in
3,000 howling, bellowing infantrymen then charged full tilt. From their positions on the walls above, the assembled Texians, Kentuckians, New Yorkers, Pennsylvanians, Tennesseans, and the rest picked off the front runners.
They all came out.
They all came out.
Zion.
Picked off the front runners with well-directed fire. The Mexicans were armed with smooth bore muskets, and at first, the superior range and marksmanship of the defenders' rifles took a toll. More than 600 attackers would fall in the next few minutes. So they were just nailing them.
Let's go.
Sheer weight of numbers made the difference from the start. However, and within moments, the Mexicans were using ladders to scale the walls. Woo! Let's go!
What did I say
This is
about
game
ladders
time.
earlier?
We knew that
I knew there
them
was walls in the story,
Right.
man.
Travis
was not
The
playing.
Texians did it, and wow. Okay.
Okay, this is
Let's
this
go,
is
boys.
the
Let's
apex.
go.
This is the apex. So this is the fight. Travis was on the north wall when the firing
Gunfight.
started. He
Alright.
was seen to drop more than one attacker with his rifle before tackling another who lunged toward him from the top of a ladder. Travis knocked him to the ground with the butt of a pistol and was
Sav.
readying himself
Pistol whipped.
and readying himself to fire again when an enemy musket ball hit him square in the forehead, killing him instantly.
Beast.
Over.
You had a good aim,
so
player.
He's done.
From a musket.
The Mexicans
From
came.
musket.
One of the dudes on the American side. The Mexicans came on
damn it.
in ever greater numbers, throwing themselves at the defenders. The fight spilled into the courtyard, and then from room to room into the buildings of the interior. By the end, when there was neither time nor room to reload weapons, the fighting was hand to hand as each man chose his last opponent and fought to the death. There are as many accounts of Jim Bowie's final moments as there were Mexicans at the Alamo, but the most often repeated, and the one man himself would doubtless have preferred, has him sitting bolt upright on his bed fighting to the very last with his pistols and the knife that bore his name. When news of his death reached his mother, she said only, "I'll wager no wounds were found in his back." Let's go!
God
Saint
damn.
Bowie.
Saint Billy ain't playing.
There are reports that various women and other non-combatants survived the Battle of the Alamo, but not one fighting man lived to tell the tale. Afterward, their bodies were burned in a great funeral pyre. Ooh.
Dropping bars.
That probably smelled fucking horrible.
Funky. Funky.
Can you imagine just burning like
Hold on,
hundreds of
I don't
bodies?
want to go into
I
like
could.
stories, but I could maybe.
Keep going, dog.
Like-
Let's finish this. Let's
Yeah,
wrap this up.
yeah.
Hey.
Afterward, their bodies were burned in a great funeral pyre on the orders of Santa Anna himself. The dictator, check this out. Here we go. The dictator marched on. A worse fate awaited Fanon and his men at Goliad. Defeated in battle by the Mexicans, they were marched onto a road outside the fort and shot by firing squads. Woo. Having seen all 350 of his men butchered, Fanon himself was executed. Fanon himself was executed while bound to a chair.
God. Damn it.
Right, like the dead. Okay, like the
It was
dead
a
of the Alamo.
frustration, yo.
Like the dead of the Alamo, the victims of what came to be known as the Goliad massacre were heaped in piles and set ablaze. Again, on Santa Anna's explicit
Oh
orders.
God!
He was just like setting people on fire. But in the end, Travis was right. The 13-day siege of the Alamo had given the provisional government precious time to arm and organize Texas forces. Sam Houston cornered the Mexicans at a place called San Jacinto on April 21st. So this is like their place.
April 21st. That's the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow's
Saturday.
April 20th. Happy April 20th, everybody.
He was
Even though
mounted
you won't
on
be
his
hearing it
great.
on 20th.
He was okay, dude. That's fucking dope that you just connected that. Actually,
It's connections.
he was mounted on his great white warhorse, Saracen, and though he knew he was heavily outnumbered, he rallied his forces with a cry that was new then, but would soon be graven into the very rocks of America. Trust in God and fear not, he shouted, waving his hat around his head. Remember Goliad, remember the Alamo.
Simon.
Sam Houston's victory that day was absolute. 600 Mexicans slain. Jesus.
Que descansan en paz.
I just want to know that even though like I'm having a good time and we're talking about it, rest in peace to those who passed.
All of them.
On
Yeah.
on
Hey.
every single
all of
side.
them, yeah.
On every
You know,
single
every
side.
every
man.
single.
I know, we're
casualty.
kind of joking around and shit.
I'm a little bit drunk, so excuse me. I'm having fun,
Yeah.
but on some real, like all of us here, feel sympathy for
Absolutely.
for the history. All respect.
Well, I mean, it was.
respect those. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't
It's
know what
all
they were
love.
doing. They were following the most they
It's
knew.
all love. I just felt a little out of line, so I had to say that. Man.
Thank
No, I
you.
feel
Thank
that. I
you.
feel
I
it.
appreciate-
No,
I
that
appreciate
that
it.
was
Wrap it up, so
necessary.
I'm saying it on the real.
We've been
I
sitting
appreciate
here
you saying
talking
that.
shit, so it was
talking
necessary.
shit, but this is some
Yeah,
real,
no, it's
real
real. It's
history,
real.
and people did what they had to do back then.
Yeah,
Shout
and they
out to
did
them.
what they honestly believed was best.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, on every single side.
Isn't it crazy though that like when we were
Hey,
talking
even
about,
when you feel like it's the last string and you got to do what you got to do just to stand up as men, I respect that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't it crazy as we were talking about doing the story that we didn't really know what we were diving into?
Not at all.
Dude, I learned a lot today.
I've
Thank
learned.
you.
I've
Me
learned.
too.
A,
Me too.
I've learned
We
a
haven't even
lot
finished.
tonight.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Towards the end, approaching the last page. Man.
Trust in God and fear not, he shouted, waving his hat around his head. Remember Goliad, remember the Alamo. Houston's victory that day was absolute. 600 Mexicans slain. Oh, God. And at least as many more taken prisoner. Fuck. Among the captives was...
Wait. So
Hold on, wait,
600
no, wait.
people died and 600?
So 1,200 total. So like 1,200 around. 600 Mexicans slain and at least as many more taken prisoner. Among the captives was General Santa Anna himself.
Ay, chingao madre.
Ay, Dios mío. Santo.
He was compelled to sign a document. He was compelled. I didn't know this part.
Pagado.
This is the 3 days after the
Pagado.
album.
Pinche document.
He was compelled to sign a
Paid.
Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. He was compelled to sign a document granting Texan independence, which the government back in Mexico City promptly denounced.
Hold
They're
up.
like, fuck
Hold
that.
up. All right, go ahead.
Paid.
Their petulance, however, could not change the facts. With the defeat of Santa Anna, the independence of the Republic of Texas was assured. Lamenting the loss to his nation, the Mexican check this out. The Mexican Secretary of War, Jose Maria Tornel y Mendeville, wrote this. The loss of Texas will inevitably result in the loss of New Mexico and the Californians. Little by little, our territory will be absorbed until only an insignificant part is left to us.
No te olvides de Colorado, de Utah, de todo lo que estaba de México.
You know how deep
antes.
this is? Do you know how deep this is,
Utah
though?
used to be part of that.
Do you know how deep this is, though?
Todo de Aslan. Shout out to Aslan Industries. AslanIndustries.com.
Let me finish this, John. The loss of Texas, and this is lamenting the loss of his nation, the Mexican Secretary of War, Jose Maria Tornel y Mendeville, wrote, the loss of Texas will inevitably result in the loss of New Mexico and the Californias. Little by little, our territory will be absorbed until only an insignificant part is left to us. Our national existence will end like those weak meteors that from time to time shine fitfully in the firmament and disappear.
God damn.
That was deep.
That was deeper than a carrot in the ground, if you ask me.
Part of the Mexico's history.
Back.
This is a big part of Mexico's history.
It is, bro.
It is,
hey,
bro.
the Alamo, that's a big...
It's a big part of American history.
Dude, this is...
They
big.
lost a lot. They lost
what
a lot of land in that.
Going back once again to this is
We're
how
literally
America
only a
was
paragraph
built.
away, so
Ooh.
go
This
ahead. I
is
want to hear this.
The country of America, this is how it was built. Like
Tell 'em.
all around.
Tell 'em.
Hey, remember? It was
Yeah.
only the East at first. The
Boston
gold,
Tea Party.
The gold rush.
The gold rush was on California.
Bruh, it was
California. But
literally-
the Boston Tea Party.
What I'm saying is that was all part of it. It was
Yep,
like, hey,
yep.
let's expand. Let's move this way. Let's go that way. Let's throw some shrapnel in the canyon. You know what I'm saying? In Texas.
Bro, it was like that shit when you would just be playing with a toy in preschool, and this little motherfucker would just run up to you, grab the toy, and be like, well, this is mine now. And that was America for a lot of the beginning.
Preschool.
Preschool, B.
Preschool, B.
Have you watched the news lately? Preschool, B. All right, let's go.
Accurate and prescient, though those sentiments undoubtedly were. I got to do this. Here we go.
Come on.
I'm going to run through this last part and just don't stop me.
Run through it.
Lamenting the loss
Corrate,
lamenting the loss to his nation, the Mexican Secretary of War, Jose Maria Tornel y Mendeville, wrote, the loss of Texas will inevitably result in the loss of New Mexico and the Californias. Little by little, our territory will be absorbed until only an insignificant part is left to us. Our national existence
God damn.
will end like those weak meteors that from time to time shine fitfully in the firmament and disappear. Accurate and prescient, though those sentiments, I said sentimentals.
Sentimientos.
Accurate and prescient through those sentiments undoubtedly were. They have nothing on the poignancy of Sam Travis's last letter from the Alamo. It was dated March 3rd, perhaps the very day when he drew his line in the sand, and said to a friend no more than 3 days or so before his death. Much has been written about the commander of that battle, and not all of it complimentary. Some point out that he was vain and proud, and that he thought so highly of himself. He thought so highly of himself that he bothered to write an autobiography while still in his early 20s. So maybe he was full of himself, I don't know. The detractors also point out that whatever his wife did or didn't do, he was wrong to turn his back on his children. He probably was. But in those last days, in that lost and desperate place, at least some of his final thoughts were of his son. Quote, "Take care of my little boy," he wrote. "If the country should be saved, I may make for him a splendid fortune. But if the country should be lost, and I should perish, he will have nothing but the proud recollection that he is the son of a man who died for his country." End quote.
God damn, that is some... Bro, could you imagine
Episode 33.
That was deeper than the Pacific.
Episode 33, short story bingo. My name is Nate Chacon III. I really want to thank Jodi and John for being on this podcast
Love y'all.
today.
I love you guys.
What do you guys think? What, like, just John, start.
I mean, that
Just the whole thing from start to finish.
it's like we were saying before, you know, you think you know a lot of these history like stories, and you think you really know how like a country was established or how people in the past really thought, but unless you're in that situation, you really don't know what's up. Like, those people wouldn't understand the problems that we see in social media and
Right.
and the things that are like social issues of the day of 2018. And so it's just crazy to think about that states were bought, property were bought, people were killed, and people were looked at as like nothing. It was a life lost was a life gained back then, as opposed to what it is now. I mean, in some aspects, I mean, if you really want to go deeper than that, but I mean, that's pretty crazy. I didn't really ever think about the Alamo, like I said in the beginning. And now I understand why it was such a big deal, is because it really was a big part of Mexican and
American history.
United States history.
And
you
how,
know?
well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it as far as the story.
I got to say this really quick to you, John, just because I just really appreciate how much you appreciate, like, fucking history.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're not going to think about the past, I mean, it's
Well, not just how much I appreciate that you appreciate history. Like, I just know that you're really, and so are you. It's like, actually, I can't even put
Hey,
John.
no, you
in
know
my-
what, John?
Like cerebral cat, and I
Hey,
just really,
John
yeah.
is an intelligent dude that knows a lot more than a lot of people that I know.
Right.
You wouldn't like
Me more than me.
You come into the shop or whatever, or like you just homies. John's a knowledgeable dude, man.
I'm
And
just interested, man. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure this
real
shit
talk,
out.
man. You don't expect it, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean. But on some real
Yeah.
shit.
What are your
you
thoughts?
done, bro?
No, man, go. I
So
want to hear what
was
Jodi
gonna
thinks.
say
So.
Is, and this is only what's written down. You feel me? It's only what's written down.
Straight up.
Like, so when we talk about the shit, it's like, yeah, this and that, but you know, small details matter that are out of this that we don't know about.
Mhm.
Like, hey, you know, just like any story we deal with on a daily basis or anything that happens.
You don't know both sides,
Like,
really.
I never tell everything that happens in my personal
you
life
can't.
to everybody. I'll tell you guys like this and that, and you know, all I'm saying is, you know, the small but humongous pains that people had to deal with, and like the gigantic emotion that was involved.
I love that.
All I'm saying is, like, hey,
I love you
rest in
pointing
peace.
that out. I love that you
Rest in
pointing that
peace to those who died in this
Straight
battle. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and we're all trying to just figure shit out. But what I'm getting at is, I'm trying to smoke a blunt right now. You know, what I'm
Straight.
saying?
Hey, you
I
know
don't even
what?
smoke a lot, but
Yeah,
hey,
it's
hey, thank you
420
for having
Eve.
us on the podcast, bro.
It's 4/19,
Hey,
2018.
you care if we kick a little free style?
Yeah,
in
we
a
can kick
minute?
a freestyle.
Hey, can I got
Yeah. Just give. We'll
Hey, but on behalf of Jodi and I just want to say, man, thank you, Nate. Thank you, Short Story Bingo. This is an awesome podcast. I really like the idea. It's really spreading awareness of actual stories and events in history. And I think people really need to know about this, man. It's one of those things where, like, you know what? We don't really think about the Alamo ever. But it's a good story, man. If we learn from our past, hopefully we can fix our future, man. That's all I want to say, bro.
And if we're ever gonna go visit, man, I got a lot more respect now that I read this story, opposed to like if I just was like, yeah, I heard about the Alamo,
right.
you know.
Yeah. Shout out to San Antonio, by the way. Another one.
And I
Just
really
history,
appreciate.
man.
I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to embark on this adventure with ourselves and this
Hell
journey,
yeah.
as far as being the official first sponsor, and that will always be the first thing.
You already
ever.
know.
There'll be sponsors
cut.
after this. There'll
Clean
be
cut barbershop.
there'll be sponsors
Clean
after.
cut barbershop.
Check this out. But there'll be sponsors after. But the first laid
Hey,
ground, clean
you know
cut.
what I mean?
And that's great.
We're homies though.
No, and
no.
That's
yeah,
real.
exactly.
That's real talk.
So $5 off your
First
first
visit.
haircut, your first visit, 21 East Kelsey Avenue.
Just
Very
drop
important.
the name Short Story Bingo when you come in and let us know. Like, hey,
What's your
we heard
favorite
about
episode?
you.
Even talk about it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck it. You can schedule an appointment on cleancutslc.com. Walk-ins are always welcome. Make sure to always check the Instagram. They do really a really good job of showing the transpiring of the cuts that they're doing at and on the Instagram it's at Clean Cut Barbershop, and of course
and follow our individual accounts too. Follow at JAHN.barber, John.barber, JAHN.
Already. My personal Instagram is Jodi Joe 801, and that's the numbers 801. I got music as well. Check me out on iTunes. Check me out on Apple Music and Spotify and whatever music platform you guys use.
we're gonna drop. I'm gonna
Just
have a
know
song.
we
I'm gonna
we
have a
coming
song
with
on-
the
I'm
heat
gonna
out
have a
here,
song-
though.
I'm gonna have a song on here.
Dude, the
I'm gonna have a song
Utah's the
first.
desert. We coming with the heat.
Myself, I use Vital. Check me out, Jodi Joe. I got an EP. I got another album with my boy Doja Sativa on there. Check us out.
These guys have been open for
Utmost.
4 years. They have over 35 years of experience, and I absolutely co-sign.
And we ain't even 35 years old.
And neither of us are even 35, so put that math together, boy.
It doesn't matter. You don't.
Mash him up.
You guys just mess that whole shit up.
Yarrahala.
Anyhow, with that being said, again, Short Story Bingo, episode 33, The Siege of the Alamo from Amazing Tales for Making Men Out of Boys by Neil Oliver. I will make sure to put the link on how to get this book on your hands.
Thank you, Nate.
there.
Thank you for having us, my man.
I really appreciate you guys
Gracias
being here.
por todo.
Like, without, it's, this is like a cathartic thing for me, and, really a time frame to kind of sit back and just read, man. I love reading, and if you love reading too, I hope that with every episode that you listen to, you check the description box, because I make sure to put the book there, or the story that you might find online, because I find stories online as well. So keep reading. Short Story Bingo. It's like Audible, sorta. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's your second time the retention program is working, we're out of here. You have anything
Peace
else to
out.
say?
No.
I just
Hey,
want.
much love. Thank you.
Yeah. You know.
Hell yeah, Nate.
I gotta give a shout out. Hold up, I gotta give a shout out to my Bay homies. I gotta give a shout out to Aslan Industries.
Yeah?
I gotta give a shout out to Loyalty Over Royalty. But other than that, I gotta say what's up to the Bay. I gotta say what's up to Salt Lake and everybody else that's out there
Hey.
listening to me, man.
Oh.
I appreciate everybody.
I want to say what's up to the whole Utmost family. My boy Doja, my partner
yeah.
Albert. You know what I mean? It is.
I'm going to
what
have
it is.
Albert on here too.
Yeah, Albert's the brother, man. That's my brother from another. John's my brother. Nate's my brother, man. We all
Yeah,
homies. My homie Milo, who's
Peace,
the-
Milo, B.
Milo, me and Nate
Man.
grew up with Milo on different, ends of the neighborhood.
And anyone that wants to
different
come
edges
see
But
of
it's
the
still
city.
Utah.
gravity, but it's still gravity.
And, it's all love, man.
It's all love, man.
You know
Anyone
what
that
it is.
wants to really
My
see real
family.
Salt Lake, hit us up, man.
Already, get at us.
Get at us, 801.
You know where to
Beehive.
find us, boy.
You know where to
Clean
find
cut.
us,
Hard to
cuz.
find.
Clean Cut Barbershop,
And if you got an old grudge and
SLC.com.
want to run a fade, it's cool. We can do
Yeah,
that.
we can
too.
give you a
know
fade
what I'm
and run a
saying?
fade.
It is what it is.
CleanCutSLC.com. This is Short Story
Utmost
Bingo.
Entertainment.
Utmost Entertainment.
Aslan Industries.
Short Story Bingo, episode 33. My name is Nate Chacon. It's like Audible, sorta. And we gotta end it like this.
Spare fingers. Cheers.
Out the sword from the stone of ember.
My homies locked up. I do $5 nickel bag full of stems and seeds.